Hello and welcome to all. Today we are here going to discuss about the story Father's Help by R.K. Narayan. In first and second part, we have discussed about how Swami, a naughty boy, tried to avoid his school, but he was trapped in his own trap. And then what was going on in his mind when he made a false complaint to his father about the cruelty of Samuel. His father became angry and he was asked to go to school with the complaint letter for Samuel's dismissal. So here in part 3 we would come to know what would happen to Swami, whether would he be able to provoke Samuel and to justify the letter or not. Let's have a flashback of part 2. In part 2, you have come to know that Swami was sent to school by his father with the complaint letter against Samuel's for his dismissal. But while going to school, Swami was tortured by his conscience. He started considering himself the culprit for Samuel's dismissals. He thought of throwing the letter of his inconsiderate father, but he could not. Then he came out with a plan of not delivering the letter to the headmaster in the beginning so that he could get enough time to justify the letter, that is the cruel nature of Samuel towards the latecomers by being beaten by him. With the hope of getting beaten by the teacher, Swami reached to the door of the classroom and was treated very kindly by Samuel, knowing that he was late because of headache. The change of behavior of Samuel created a doubt in the mind of Swami. Now, would Swami be able to provoke Samuel to justify the letter? To know it, let's discuss about part 3. Swami had hoped that after reaching to the class, he might be beaten by Samuel, so that it would be easy for him to prove the letter or to justify the letter. But he found that Samuel was a totally changed person. The way he had painted him in dark color before his father, Samuel was not like that. He became a considerate person and he allowed Swami to enter into the class and to allow him to sit for coming late because of headache. And now Swami went to his seat with a bleeding heart. The sympathetic behavior that he had got from Samuel, he also felt sympathy because of the person Samuel. He had never met a man so good as Samuel. It seemed to him Samuel was the best person he had ever met. Means the way he described him in front of his father, he thought that he was wrong about Samuel because no trace of cruelty was found in Samuel. The teacher was inspecting the home lesson, which usually produced, at least according to Swami's impression, scenes of great violence. So, when the teacher started inspecting the homework of the student, as per the understanding or description of Swami, that Samuel used to beat the student or used to give punishment to the student. Swami was remembering about the scene of violence during the checking of homework. Just like notebooks would be flung at faces, boys would be abused, caned, and made to stand up on benches. He remembered about the various types of punishment Samuel used to give to the student who did not used to do their homework. Just like Samuel would used to throw the notebooks at the faces of the boys who did not used to do their homework. The students were insulted, even they were beaten, as well as they were made to stand up on benches. But today, Samuel appeared to have developed more tolerance and gentleness. But unlike the expectation of Swami that Samuel would behave cruelly or violently, but he found that Samuel was not doing so. Rather, he was a tolerant person and he was a very gentle, or you can say a quiet person. He pushed away the bad books, just touched people with cane, never made anyone stand up for more than a few minutes. So, what he was doing? Instead of throwing the notebooks at the student as he used to do earlier, he was just pushing away the bad notebooks. Then he was not beating anyone, but just he was touching them. And even he did not make the student to stand up on benches for a long time but for a few minutes only. Means there was a change in behavior of Samuel as Swami thought that the behavior would be like that of previous one as he described, but it was not so. Swami's turn came. Now it was the turn of Swami to produce his homework, to submit his homework copy. He almost thanked God for the chance. And as it was told earlier, Swami was not at all a good student. He did not want to come to school. So here when his turn came to show his homework, he started thanking the God for giving the chance to provoke Samuel so that Samuel would beat him. Swaminathan, where is your homework? Now the teacher asked about his homework. I have not done any homework, sir, he said blandly. Blandly means softly or gently. There was a pause. So Swami very gently or politely or softly said that he had not done his homework. And then a pause was there. Why headache? Asked Samuel. Yes, sir. And then Samuel asked that because of your headache, probably you could not do the homework. And Swami also agreed with Samuel. Swami could not make out what had happened to Samuel. Earlier, when any student had not done his homework, he was punished. But that day, even Swami was also exempted from doing homework because of his headache, and that was not liked by Swami because he wanted that he should be beaten by Samuel. Then, alright, sit down. So, after considering the condition of Swami that he had headache, that's why he could not do his homework. So Samuel allowed Swami to sit down. Swami sat down, wondering what had come over Samuel. Swami could not understand the mentality of Samuel of that day. He was thinking what had happened to Samuel, what had brought such a change in him. The period came to an end and Swami felt desolate. And as the period of Samuel came to an end, so Swami was in miserable condition because if he could not provoke Samuel and being beaten by him, then there was problem in his home because his father would not allow him to play any trick again. So the last period for the day was again taken by Samuel, and fortunately Swami got another opportunity. The last period, during the last period also, the same teacher Samuel came to the class. He came this time to teach them Indian history. So here he was coming, or he came in order to teach Indian history in the last period of the school of Swami's class. The period began at 3:45 and ended at 4:30. So it was a 45 minutes period and it would end at 4:30. Means Swami had 45 minutes to justify the letter. Swaminathan had sat through the previous periods thinking acutely. Acutely means keenly or eagerly. So Swaminathan was thinking what to do, how he could provoke Samuel to beat him. He could not devise any means of provoking Samuel, but no idea came to his mind. He could not find anything or any trick through which he could make Samuel annoyed or angry so that the person Samuel would beat Swami. When the clock struck 4, Swami felt desperate. As time was passing, the opportunity of justifying the letter was also vanishing very quickly. So Swami had only 30 minutes left to prove the letter, to justify the letter. Half an hour more. Samuel was reading the red text, the portion describing Vasco da Gama's arrival in India. So Samuel was teaching the student about the arrival of Vasco da Gama to India. The boys listened in half languor, that is in dull mind, because it was the last period of the day. So the boys, they were also tired by attending all the classes, so they became dull minded now. They were not at all totally attentive to the class. Swami suddenly asked at the top of his voice, "Why did not Columbus come to India, sir?" Suddenly the question came from Swami, as if suddenly a bullet was fired from the gun. Means at the top of his voice, at a high pitched voice, Swami asked the question that why did Columbus not come to India? He lost his way. And the teacher said that the reason was Columbus lost the way. I can't believe it. It is unbelievable, sir. Why? But Swami was telling that it was unbelievable. He did not believe that Columbus could lose his way. Why? Such a great man, would he have not known the way? So Swami was trying to provoke Samuel by asking silly question. So here also what he was saying, that Columbus, that the a great explorer, if you would say that he forgot or he lost his way, he could not believe it, because such a great person could not make mistake like that. Don't shout, I can hear you quite well. As Swami was shouting at the top of his voice, so he was instructed by Samuel not to ask or not to tell anything so sharply or so in a high pitched voice. I am not shouting, sir. This is my ordinary voice which God has given me. How can I help it? And Swami said fearlessly that it was my ordinary voice and that was given to me by God. So it was beyond my control to listen the sound of my voice, to decrease the sound of my voice. Samuel asked him to close his mouth and sit down on his bench. Swaminathan felt that his silly questions made Samuel a bit angry or annoyed. So Swaminathan sat down, feeling slightly happy at his success. So Swaminathan was feeling happy, thinking that he get success, thinking that he was successful in provoking Samuel. The teacher threw a puzzled, suspicious glance at him and resumed his lesson. The teacher, Samuel, was also confused and he was doubtful, and then he started his lesson. Because earlier Swami was very much inactive, he never asked a single question in the class. But today Swami was asking question to Samuel and he was giving explanation also, that created a confusion, that created a doubt in the mind of Samuel. And then his next chance occurred when Shankar of the first bench got up and asked, Sir, was Vasco da Gama the first person to come to India? And Swami was waiting for opportunity, and the next opportunity he got when Shankar, a student who sat on the first bench, asked the question that was Vasco da Gama the first person who came to India? Before the teacher could answer, Swami shouted from the back bench, that's what they said. But before Samuel could say anything, Swami interfered and told that everyone said about it, that Vasco da Gama was the first person to come to India. The teacher and all the boys looked at Swami. So they could not believe what was happening, because Swami never participated in the class. He never asked any question. He remained inactive. But today he became very much active. He was asking question, means silly questions, and he was also interfering while the teacher was teaching. The teacher was puzzled by Swami's obtrusive behavior today. The way Swami was behaving, the teacher became more and more confused. Swaminathan, you are shouting again. The teacher again gave the warning to him that Swaminathan, don't shout. I'm not shouting, sir. How can I help my voice given by God? So in order to make the teacher annoyed, Swaminathan again started shouting, and when the teacher told him not to shout, then he said that it was my God gifted voice. So I could not control it any more. The school clock struck a quarter hour, means now it was 4:15. A quarter more. Means now Swami had only 15 minutes left in to prove or justify the letter. Swami felt he must do something drastic in 15 minutes. So Swami felt that he had to do something so that Samuel would get angry on him and would beat him. Samuel had no doubt scowled at him and snapped him, but it was hardly adequate. So Samuel was looking at him angrily. The facial expression, the angry facial expression was telling that Samuel did not like the way Swami was interfering. But that was not adequate. That was not enough for Swami. Swami felt that with a little more effort, Samuel could be made to deserve dismissal and imprisonment. So Swami felt that he was paving towards the path of success. So if he would redoubled the effort, then he would be able to get success to justify the letter so that Samuel should be dismissed as well as he would be imprisoned. So what we have got, that Swami, in order to provoke the teacher Samuel, came up with various plans. One was, while Samuel was teaching, he started asking silly questions so that Samuel would get annoyed or would get angry, and then he would beat him so that he could justify the letter. But up to 4:15, Swami was not able to provoke him totally. As a result, Samuel did not beat him also. In the next part, you would come to know what had happened with Swami, whether he was successful in provoking Samuel or not, whether Samuel was dismissed, or was Swami able to deliver the letter to the headmaster or not. Up to that, thank you.